I messed up by getting tested to donate a kidney to my wife. Original post. I decided to get tested to see if I could donate my kidney to my wife of 6 years. We have 2 kids together, 4 female, 2 male. My wife got sick just after our son was born, and I was in need of a kidney transplant. We checked with her relatives and none were a match or a viable donor. So last week I got tested. I knew it would be a long shot, so I decided to get tested to see if I could donate. I got a call the other day saying that I was a match. The doctor then said something about wanting to do additional testing due to some information from the HLA tissue test results. I didn't think much of it and agreed. Then the results came in. I was shocked and confused. He explained that because of how DNA information is passed down through generations, a parent to a child could have at least a 50% match. Siblings could have a 0 to 100% match, but it was rare to have a high match as husband and wife. I asked what does that mean, and he said that my wife and I have an abnormally high match percentage. Long story short, we're related. No, I'm not kidding. I was put up for adoption before I was born, placed into a family that moved across the country. I knew I was adopted, but we didn't have any information about my bio family as it was a closed adoption. I met my wife by chance 8 years ago. I was on a trip from work and she was working at the site I went to. We worked together for a week, exchanged numbers, and kept in touch. I was sent back there 3 more times that year, and each time we became closer. I was given the opportunity to be transferred out there in a new higher paying position in a different department as hers, and the rest is history. I don't know what to do moving forward, but I know it may be wrong. She is my wife and the mother of our kids. This post is probably going to get removed, but it is all true. Edit. All of my family is from my adopted parents. My parents adopted me 2 minutes after I was born. Even their name is on my birth certificate. They have not told me anything about my bio parents and don't have any info. Her family is not a match as stated above. Most of her family has low match potential or can't donate due to medical or other reasons. I am 2 years older than my wife, and I do know that my wife was born when her parents were late teens. Yes, I do have bad grammar and spelling. Yes, I'm stressed and freaking out. Yes, I can play the banjo. No, there were no genetic tests when we got married. Our state stopped that in the 90s. No, my wife has never been stuck in a dryer, but she once got stuck under the bed. Joke. The reason I did not go into too much detail is to try to not be so specific that I or my wife might be recognized. Well, the front page of Reddit didn't help with that. Thank you all for your comments and feedback. I didn't respond to them, but I did read all of them. The reason her family couldn't donate was that close relatives had some medical issues that prevent them from donating. Examples? High blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, heavy drinkers, and more. I wanted to be tested because we needed to find someone. The doctor said it would be unlikely, but wouldn't hurt to try. I was freaking out after I got the news, and had to get outside advice. When the doctor said that the percentage was abnormally high and that we might be related, I kind of zoned out and started to piece things together in my mind. My parents live 8,000 miles away. They met my in-laws a few times, once at my wedding and when both my children were born. My children are fine. My daughter is incredibly smart for her age. My son is handful and healthy. The way my adoption worked was when my bio mom gave birth to me, I was checked out and put in a different room. I was there, but don't know how it officially worked. From what my parents explained, they were in that room waiting. They never met my bio mom in person. My bio mom only had a profile and picked them out of many candidates. I called my parents and told them that I needed to know everything they knew about my bio mom. They told me that they had limited knowledge. They said she was a single mom that was 16 years old, and the father was not in the picture. Also, that I was born in a hospital 1 hour from where my wife was born. Like I said, limited knowledge. Growing up, I didn't want to find out about my bio parents. To me, my parents were always my parents. I knew I was adopted and that it was a closed adoption. I figure it wouldn't matter long term. I'm not going to do an additional at-home DNA test through any of the traditional testing sites like 23 or Ancestry due to personal reasons, like the possibility of the family finding out. The doctor said all of this to only me, not with my wife present. Some of the additional tests were done through the doctor, which was the CM test. I'm not an expert on DNA testing. They said it was like a 1900 plus CM match. This basically confirms one of my bio parents is one of hers. It can also mean first cousins or aunt/uncle, but I'm guessing her dad. When my kids were born, my parents brought photos of me as a baby and commented that I and my son looked a lot like my wife's dad. My son was easily explainable, but all three of us are a different story. I'm not going to bring this up ever. I might look at my father-in-law differently, but nothing will hopefully change. I am donating my kidney to my wife. We have started the full process. That takes time and a lot of preparation, but I do plan on talking to my wife after the surgery and after recovery. We will decide what to do with our kids, if we are going to get them tested or ever tell them. No, I will not be leaving my wife. I love and will always be there for her. I made vows, and I will keep them. I love her more than I would a half-sister. Edited to Ed, I do plan on telling her after the surgery. She's not doing well, and I think this will be even harder for her. I would rather her know that I love her as a husband, rather than flip her world upside down right before a life-changing and dangerous surgery, if something were to happen. Telling our kids is not a decision I'm going to make on my own. It will be a joint thing after my wife knows. You're a good husband and father. And brother. Too soon, man. Too soon. You're doing a good thing. Despite what you know now, your priority is to the person you love. You had no idea how genetically close you were until this moment, and your wife needs help. It will be a huge shock to her, and maybe the best thing to do would be to tell your kids when they are mature enough to take the information seriously. Obviously, that's something you and your wife will have to talk about. If I had found this out about me and my other half, we have an 18-year-old daughter together. It would not change how I feel about them, but I would definitely not have any more kids in case complications arose. I hope that the transplant is a success, and that you both enjoy a lot more time together. Best comment I have read on this or the previous one. I can't get what fun people are finding in a critical situation that's out of everybody's hands. I totally feel for Opie, and think he is handling the situation wonderfully. I would view it as a blessing that he is so closely related to his wife, because now he can save her life with his kidney. His children are not degenerate mutants and will, in all likelihood, have healthy kids of their own someday. But if you can't see what's funny about Opie's situation, I don't know what to tell you. It's a ridiculous situation. There are tons of great jokes in these threads, but Opie seems to be being a good sport about it all. Anthropology background here. This isn't as big of a deal as you think. In general, there isn't a huge genetic danger for first cousins marrying. In some cultures, cousin marriage isn't even taboo. The genetic difference for half-siblings is similar. Oh, don't get me wrong. If enough cousins and other kin keep marrying over and over for generations, like the Habsburgs, then it can be a problem. But the prohibition against these stuff is more taboo than science. The thing is, even if you married your half-sister or cousin, it doesn't matter. You didn't do so on purpose, so there's no moral issue. No one but you knows, so there's no taboo issue. The genetic risk is low and non-existent if there are no dangerously reinforceable genes. And it sounds like you have healthy children. Stop worrying about this. There's nothing to see here. Exactly. Unless it's multiple times in multiple generations, or there's a rare recessive disease, it doesn't really matter. The incest taboo is really about family relationships and power dynamics, no genetics. If you didn't grow up together as part of the same family unit, and you didn't even know about a genetic relationship until after getting together, then the taboo really doesn't apply. Some people may still have a visceral reaction because the taboo is that deeply seated, but when you think about it logically, the reasoning falls apart. My 24 male girlfriend, 23 female, just broke up with me because of our work friends. Original post. I have been with my girlfriend Kate exclusively for 5 years, but on and off for 2 years before. A lot of my first happened with her. We went to each other's prom/school dances and supported each other through tough times. I know Kate is out of my league, and I did all I could to make her feel safe and secure. I'm in love with her and wanted a future with her. I went off to college and got a double major while Kate went into cosmetology school. We were planning to move in with each other in a few months and talked about marriage and children. But for the last couple months, she kept making comments like, "My coworkers keep asking why I'm with you. Coworker thinks that you're not in my league. My coworkers want me to hang out with them and meet new people." Every time I would ask Kate what she thought, she always said that she loves me and ignores the comments. Tell them to stop. But her coworkers just kept saying these comments. We always had open communication, talked things out, We haven't had any major issues. We argue over little things such as movies and TV/anime shows, food, etc., and we don't hide anything. These comments started when she got the job at that salon. She works with all women. She did not cheat or anything. No emotional affairs, no hiding locations, no secret social media. Then the other night we had a nice date. Had a good after date. But when I dropped her off at her place, she commented that she was having doubts about our relationship and wanted to break up. I was super confused and didn't say anything, just slowly walked away. I know it was because of her coworkers, the comments they were making and pushing her to leave me. She said so in a message. Then less than 4 hours later, she started calling me and texting me saying she was sorry, didn't mean it, that she loves me and that she was stupid for what she said, / listening to her new friends, that she was going to quit and find a different job and stop talking to her friends / coworkers. I have not responded to any of them. I'm conflicted. I love her. I have a ring being made for her. Even money saved for a house for both of us. We share 85% of our friend groups. Then the rest are from our jobs, and most of our shared friends have now heard about the breakup and seem just as confused as I am. From some of the messages I have received, it looks like she told them the truth. That her coworker started to give her insecurities about our relationship, and she stupidly went with it. Her parents tried to reach out to me asking what happened, as we are very close, but I have been radio silent. Luckily, I can work remotely. I left my apartment yesterday with my laptop and found a nice place with good internet to still do my job. Am I the a-hole for not giving my sister her wedding dress because she didn't invite my underage son? Plus updates. I, 40 male, have a sister, 30 female, who is getting married in a week. The groom proposed to her a year ago at a family dinner that left everyone speechless, but very happy for them as they are longtime companions. During this dinner, my sister asked my son, 17 male, to make her wedding dress. My son has always loved design and fashion. He took technical courses in these areas and sewing, and even his friends keep asking for his clothes because they are so beautiful. He agreed but said that he needed time and that he would need her opinion constantly. At first, my sister was very annoying. My son drew about 50 dress designs in a month, and she only liked one, which he continued with. He sewed it with great quality fabric, which I paid for as I wanted to get involved in a certain way. For 5 months, he made several adjustments to suit her wishes, and she always complained about something. After a while, he arrived at a final model, and it was just amazing. My mother cried seeing my sister in the dress, and I confessed that I almost got emotional too. The problem was that, last week, my son came to talk to me about the wedding invitation that had not arrived for him, but for other family members. I thought maybe he didn't need one, but it still felt weird. So I messaged my sister raising this issue, and she replied that she didn't want any underage people at her wedding because there would be alcohol. I asked if she was going to make an exception for my son, but she cut me off and said no. There are no children in our family. My son is the only minor, so I didn't see any sense of this rule for family members. To make matters worse, my son was very sad and cried because he spent months on this dress, but couldn't go to the wedding. I was very upset and told my sister that she should look for another dress as soon as possible as she would no longer wear the one my son made. She called and yelled at me, saying I was being unreasonable and that I couldn't do this. My mother calling me saying I should deliver the dress and follow the rules, but I didn't and hung up on her. Because of this, the family is divided. Many agree with me and condemn my sister's actions, saying she could only make an exception. But another part says I'm unreasonable, that I'm spoiling her big day. I don't think I'm being wrong, but just rational and paying her back in kind. So am I the a-hole?